Legal appointment. That's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next steps.
Deep debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered mayor.
What's up, everyone? You won't believe the insane roller coaster ride of Dolton's very own Tiffany Henyard, better known to some as the Super Mayor. From the high life to a serious downfall, her story is nothing short of outrageous. But here's the kicker. She's now reportedly broke and turning to the same people she once led, asking for help. Yep, you heard that right. She's allegedly requesting a staggering $10 million from Dolton residents just to keep up her luxury lifestyle. So, how did things get this messy? Buckle up, because we're about to break down every jaw-dropping twist in this wild saga.
Absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt first.
Let's unpack the dramatic rise and fall of Tiffany Henyard. Not long ago, she was living it up, jet-setting on fancy vacations, rolling with heavy security, and tossing around public funds like monopoly money. And trust me, she made sure everyone noticed. Who could forget those giant welcome banners with her face everywhere? She reportedly dropped a jaw-dropping $200,000 on just that. But today, she's allegedly flat broke, and it's all catching up with her. Before we explore the avalanche of debt she's now buried under, let's rewind and look at how the downfall really started. Tiffany handled public money like it was her own private stash, and she didn't think twice about spending it. Let's be honest, blowing $199,000 on welcome signs alone? That's beyond outrageous, especially when the average Dolton household pulls in under $30,000 a year. It's like she had a blank check signed by the people, and she didn't hesitate to cash it in at every opportunity.
Wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions.
While Tiffany was busy living large, Dolton was crumbling behind the scenes. The fire department? They hadn't had a proper contract in 5 whole years. That's right. The same heroes who put their lives on the line daily were left hanging without a fair agreement. And what was Tiffany doing? Dropping thousands on flashy banners to welcome folks into a town falling apart at the seams. And believe it or not, it gets even worse. Let's talk about her constant getaways to Vegas. While Dolton was neck-deep in financial trouble, Tiffany was allegedly enjoying the high life in Sin City, funded by the very people she was elected to protect and serve.
I mean, unfortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. So, but like I said, you have just some kind of...
Here's where it takes an even crazier turn. Not only was Tiffany draining taxpayer money on extravagant vacations, but she also had a full security team trailing her every step. And this wasn't just for local events. Her security detail traveled with her, racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some officers were reportedly pulling in more than $133,000 in overtime during just one pay period. That's more than some people make in 3 or even 4 years. Introducing Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the so-called People's Mayor and People's Supervisor. It almost seems like Tiffany forgot she was supposed to be managing a town, not living like a VIP. And here's the catch. Celebrities cover their own expenses. Tiffany, however, was squandering taxpayer dollars, leaving Dolton in the dust. It got so bad that the company behind those flashy welcome banners is still waiting for payment. And they're not the only ones. We've been keeping an eye on Tiffany Henyard's sketchy spending for a while, but trust me, we've barely scratched the surface. Here's the bombshell. Tiffany didn't just waste public funds, she allegedly borrowed millions, and get this, she used Dolton's own infrastructure as collateral. You can't make this stuff up. Now, unable to pay it back, creditors are knocking on her door, And once again, the taxpayers of Dolton are left footing the bill. It's an absolute financial disaster. And if you thought that was the worst of it, brace yourself. Tiffany reportedly got involved in some shady dealings with Section 8 housing. Allegedly, she saw the government's housing assistance program as a golden opportunity. She owned a property in shambles, severe mold, water damage, the works. But she kept collecting those sweet government checks. How? Well, let's just say her property's inspection history is sketchier than a palm tree on a desert island. The place was labeled uninhabitable in 2019, but Tiffany allegedly continued to pocket subsidies like nothing was amiss. Wild, right?
Howard was just very stressed and critical to the point of almost breaking.
While Tiffany was playing the part of a slumlord, the people living in her properties were paying the price. These were folks who already had little to their name, stuck in deplorable living conditions. Tiffany's job was to ensure they had safe, decent homes. But instead, she was allegedly pocketing the rent money. It's not just unethical, it's downright heartbreaking. And this is only one small chapter in the larger mess that marked Tiffany's time as mayor. We're talking about financial mismanagement, accusations of corruption, and scandal after scandal. It's like every time someone digs into Dolton's problems, yet another layer of chaos comes to light.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything. It will be me addressing you guys to tell you what.
And if you thought the drama couldn't get any crazier, guess what? The FBI is officially involved. That's right. Tiffany's reckless spending and financial mishandling have finally drawn the attention of federal investigators. This is no longer just a local issue. The FBI is now thoroughly examining Tiffany's financial dealings, and they're not holding back. They've served subpoenas, not only for her personal transactions, but also for the entire township's financial records. They're determined to trace every penny she's touched, and what they're uncovering is absolutely shocking. Tiffany didn't just waste money on welcome banners and lavish trips. She allegedly used taxpayer dollars for all kinds of personal indulgences, from over-the-top vacations to a security detail that could rival Hollywood's elite. It's as if she believed the mayor's office came with an endless credit card for her own pleasures.
That the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what.
And just when you thought things couldn't get any more intense, here's the kicker. To assist with the investigation, they've brought in none other than former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. That's right. Lori is now leading the charge, and she's not holding back. She's been spotlighting Tiffany's financial chaos, and every time they dig deeper, more skeletons are tumbling out of Tiffany's closet. It's getting worse by the day, and with Halloween just around the corner, it feels like the perfect time for all those skeletons to make their grand entrance, right? While the FBI is busy tracing Tiffany's trail of financial wreckage, the people of Dolton are absolutely livid. They put their trust in her to lead, and instead, she's dragged them into a financial disaster. Local business owners and former employees are now working with the feds, spilling all the tea. It seems like everyone has a story about Tiffany's alleged misconduct, and they're all eager to help with the investigation. As the heat intensifies, Tiffany seems to be vanishing from the public eye. She's missed 25 board meetings, disappeared from public events, and hasn't been seen in what feels like forever. Imagine your mayor going MIA while the town falls apart around her. But here's where it gets even wilder. Rumors are swirling that Tiffany's been selling off her personal belongings just to stay afloat. The same woman who once lived like a queen is now desperately scrambling to raise cash. Dolton is in complete disarray without its leader. Things have gotten so bad that the village board had to appoint Trustee Jason House as interim mayor just to keep things from falling apart. It's like something straight out of a bad reality show. But hold on. Just when you think Tiffany couldn't sink any lower, she pulls off the ultimate move. A GoFundMe campaign. Yep, you heard that right. The same woman who spent taxpayer money like it was nothing is now asking everyday people to donate their hard-earned money to help her out. Can you believe the nerve? It's almost laughable. After living a life of luxury, going on extravagant trips, and wasting money on security and banners, Tiffany is now begging for donations. And the public? Let's just say they're not exactly rushing to her rescue. Some are furious, while others can't stop laughing at the sheer absurdity. How do you go from living like a Kardashian to begging for donations? But wait, it doesn't stop there. People are starting to question whether this GoFundMe is even legitimate. Is Tiffany really that broke? Or is this just another one of her schemes? After all, she has a history of pulling off questionable moves. Some believe this is just her latest attempt to squeeze more money from people before disappearing for good. They're convinced she'll take whatever she can get and vanish. Faster than you can say, "Where's the mayor?" Honestly, they might be onto something. Tiffany's been MIA for months, selling off her belongings and now asking for donations. It looks like she's preparing to skip town and leave Dolton with the mess she created. Meanwhile, the police department can't even afford to keep its cars running. The fire department is still waiting on a contract, and the town's credit is in ruins. Yet here's Tiffany, acting like she's the one who needs help. Despite all the chaos, Tiffany's GoFundMe has somehow raised over $115,000. Yeah, you heard that right. People are actually donating. Some must have really deep pockets, because how on earth is she getting this much support after everything that's happened? But let's be real. $115,000 won't even make a dent in the millions she allegedly owes. It's like trying to put out a wildfire with a squirt gun. Now, the big question. Is Tiffany's GoFundMe a legitimate cry for help, or just another ploy to pay off her debts and fund her next escape? One thing's for sure. Tiffany's always been good at disappearing when the going gets tough, and this time doesn't seem to be any different. But what do you think? Is Tiffany Henyard's GoFundMe a real plea for help, or just another trick to get more cash? Should she be held accountable for all the financial damage she's done to Dolton?